Hello students. Problem 5 from the assignment, capacitor assignment, problem number 5. Capacitor spring combination, right? Again a very good question, very good question, conceptual. Question is full of concepts and it requires a lot of focus and concentration. Now the question is like, you have a parallel plate capacitor as given with separation between the plates equals to d1 right now. The separation between the two plates is given as d1 when there is no charge on plate A and there is no charge on plate B. Now we connect a battery between A and B, and when we connect a battery between A and B, they will receive some charge, and because of the charge on plate A and plate B, they are attracted towards each other, and the plate separation, which was originally d1, is now changed to a new value d2, right? Upper plate is fixed to the support, it cannot move, whereas the lower plate is free, it can move up or it can move down. It is connected by ideal spring of some constant K, right? So now there are three parts in this question. First part is what is the spring constant, B part what is the maximum voltage for the given value of K, and third one regarding the time period. So now at the initial moment when there was no charge between A and B, at the initial moment there was no charge on A, no charge on B, both the plates were neutral. In that situation, the force on plate B was because of gravity mg, and there will be some compression in the spring. The spring must be compressed by some amount so that it can exert a force in the upward direction, which is kxi, where xi denotes initial compression in this spring. Remember, this is the case where plate A and plate B both are neutral, they do not have any charge. In that situation, the forces on plate B are its weight mg and the force by the compression in the spring, that is K times xi as per the Hooke's law. So now you will balance them and you will get equation which is kxi equals to mg as your first equation. Now the plates are charged. That is the second part. Now the capacitor is connected with the electric source with voltage capital V, and now the separation will reduce. And why the separation will reduce is obvious, because as you connect, when you connect battery, one plate will be positively charged, other plate will be negatively charged, and because of positive and negative charges, the two plates will be attracted towards each other, and when the two plates are attracted towards each other, the separation which was originally d1 is now d2. Initially this separation between the plate was d1, but now the separation between plate is d2, right? Now in the second situation, if you draw the free body diagram, in the second situation, if we draw free body diagram of the lower plate, then forces are, in the second situation, if you draw the free body diagram on the lower plate, then the forces are, one is weight mg downward, second the force between these two plates, let's say capital F, which is the force between the two plates, positive charge and negative charge, and a spring will be further stressed. There was some compression in the spring, and now spring will be elongated. So the compression which was originally xi will reduce, and therefore spring force which is in the upward direction will be written as k its original compression xi, notice that because of the upward movement of lower plate is moving upward, and therefore spring compression will reduce. So it will be xi minus some delta value. And what is that delta value? That delta value is the amount by which spring compression reduces, and that is this distance will be delta. If lower plate is moving upward by delta distance, the spring compression will reduce by delta distance, and therefore that delta can be written as, you can write the value of delta, that delta should be d1 minus d2. Now in this new situation, if we balance the forces, then you get F plus K xi minus delta should be equals to mg. It implies F plus K xi minus K delta equals to mg, and remember K xi was equals to mg. So this K xi and this mg, they were already equal, so these two will be cancelled now, and you will get F equals to K delta. And when you get F equals to K delta, and you will replace delta by d1 minus d2. Now F is the force between two plates, and for capacitor the force between two plates is given by Q square over 2A epsilon 0. That is the force between the two plates of a parallel plate capacitor, where charge can be obtained by product of capacitance and the voltage. So this Q charge will be written as, you can write the Q charge as capacitance, which is A epsilon over distance between the plates. Now remember, you are writing this equation for that moment when the plate separation is d2. So while calculating the capacitance, A epsilon naught over, you will substitute d2, because d2 is now separation between the plates. So this is capacitance into voltage is the charge, Q equal to CV. So this is now value of Q is square of Q and divided by 2A epsilon 0 and equals to K, and here it is d1 minus d2. Now we will simplify this equation, and when we simplify this result, if you simplify this result, you will get the first part, you will get the answer for the first part, which is the value of constant K. You will get the value of constant K as required. So right, so this was the first question, that is spring constant. What will be the value of spring constant? So if you solve it, you get K equals to A epsilon V square over 2 times d2 square d1 minus d2 cube. This is the answer for the spring constant. That is the answer of first part. Now for the second part, which is what can be the maximum voltage of Vm for a given value of K? That is the second part of question. What can be the maximum value of voltage V? Right. So now we will continue the solution. From this expression you can write V square equals to, from this expression you can write V square equals to 2K over A epsilon and then d2 square d1 minus d2 cube. For the maximum value of V, you will apply maxima minima property, which says that derivative of V with respect to the variable in this equation, and the only variable in this equation is d2. This will be d of d2. Remember, d2 is the variable. So derivative of v with respect to d2 must be 0, and if you differentiate it and put it equals to 0, you will get the value of d2. So if you differentiate it and put the value equals to 0, to know what is the value of d2 for maximum value of v, and it will give you d2 equals to 2 by 3 times d1. So this is the conditions, this is the criteria, this is the value of d2 for which value of v is going to be maximum, and it will come when you differentiate and put it equals to 0. You differentiate this term, put it equals to 0, you will get d2 equals to 2 by 3 d1, and now substitute d2 here and here, and when you substitute the value of d2 here and here, you get the maximum value of v. And that maximum value of v, after substituting the value of d2, when you substitute the value of d2, you get the maximum value of v, and that maximum value of v will be square root of, that maximum value of v will be square root of k over a epsilon 0, that maximum value of v is square root of k upon a epsilon 0, and then 2 by 3 d1 cube. This is the maximum answer for the maximum value of v, second part. Now comes third part of question. So this was solution to the A part, now the solution of B part, and now solution for third part. Now notice that right here, right at this moment, this lower plate is in the state of equilibrium. The lower plate is in the state of equilibrium, and now as per the third part, we are going to displace the lower plate. We are going to displace the lower plate by a very small distance. We are going to displace the lower plate by a very small distance. Let's say we will displace the plate in the upward direction. Assume that the plate will be displaced in upward direction. What will happen then? So just concentrate on the free body diagram of lower plate. If you keep your focus on the lower plate, forces on the lower plate are upper side, on the upper side, force by the positive plate. This is the force between plates. Another force is mg, and this is the force by spring, which was k xi minus delta, right? So these are the forces on the plate, and at the time of equilibrium, all these forces are balanced. So you can write F plus k xi minus delta equals to mg. All the forces are balanced. Now suppose that lower plate is moved upward. When the lower plate is moved upward by a very small distance, let's say small x, let's say it has been moved upward by a distance small x. As a result, two forces are going to change. One is the force by spring, that will change, because if lower plate is moving upward, then the spring compression, which was originally xi, which was reduced by delta at the time of equilibrium, will further reduce by x distance while going upward. So now the spring force will be k xi minus delta and minus x. What will happen to this force F, which is between the plates? So the force which was between the plates was this one. Notice, this left hand side is the force between the plates, and if you simplify it, you will get A epsilon V square over 2 d2 square. So this force was A epsilon V square over 2 d2 square. But when this plate will be moved upward by small x, the separation will reduce from d2 to d2 minus small x. So in place of d2 square, you will write d2 minus x whole square. And then a force mg. I repeat, the value of F which was between the plate, it was, if you simplify this left hand side, you will get a term A epsilon V square over 2 d2. But after the lower plate is moved upward, in place of d2 you will write the new separation between the two plates, which is d2 minus small x. So now this is the question. Now what is the net force in this case? If you find the net force here, so now the net force will be written as k xi minus delta minus x plus this force between the plates A epsilon V square over twice d2 minus x whole square, and then there's downward force which is minus mg. That is the net force. I will split the first term in two parts, kxi minus delta minus kx, and here I will take d2 as common, so I will get A epsilon V square over twice d2 square, and then you will get 1 minus x over d2 raised to the power minus 2, and then minus mg. Going ahead, it is kxi minus delta minus kx. Here you will apply binomial approximation because x is very small, and when you will apply binomial approximation, this power minus 2 will come at this place and it will become 1 plus 2x by d2, and when you simplify it after the binomial approximation, you get A epsilon by 2 d2 square V square plus A epsilon V square over d2 cube and minus mg. Notice this is the value of, this is previous value of force. I should write it F dash so that you are not confused. F dash is the force between the plates after the lower plate is moved upward, and F is the force between the plates at the time of equilibrium when the separation was d2. So this term, which is A epsilon V square by 2 d2 square, is the previous value of force F. So this is capital F, and from this equation F plus k xi minus delta is equal to mg. So this F plus k xi minus delta equals to mg. So this term, and this term, they are cancelled. These three factors are cancelled now. Oh, sorry, I get 1x will be here also. You will get 1x at this place because after binomial approximation the term will be plus 2x. So it's I'm repeating the term A epsilon V square x by d2 cube. Now if you simplify, then it is minus k plus A epsilon V square over d2 cube, and outside is x. That is the value of net force. And this is very much similar to the spring force, Hooke's law. So this term inside the bracket, you can call it K effective, the effective value of K. It is similar to the Hooke's law. And now to find the time period, of oscillation, you can use the result of a spring block system. That time period of oscillation will be 2 pi square root of m over this constant, effective constant, k plus a epsilon v square upon d2 cube, and then you will replace a epsilon v square. You will replace a epsilon v square by 2 times of k multiplied by this value. So if you replace, you get 2 pi square root of m over k. A epsilon v square will be replaced from here. So you will get 2k d2 square d1 minus d2 cube and divided by d2 cube. And after simplification, you will get the answer. So this was the complete question number 5 from the assignment. Still, if you find any difficulty to understand any step or any concept, you are always free to write the message, or you can call me. You can drop your message through WhatsApp or in the comment box, or you can directly call me to understand this concept. Take care, stay home. Thank you very much.